Joining us now is Ojinika Okpe, with stories trending around the world. Hello, Eunice.
Good morning, Dr.
How are you?
It says OGO.
Thank God it's Friday.
How does he edit my name all the time?
Good morning. Say OG Okpe, but not Dr. Bass.
No worries. How are you?
Good.
Good morning, Tundu. You look lovely.
Thank you.
What color is this?
It's white.
No, it's off-white.
Okay, great. That's a designer, by the way. Rufai, how are you? Good morning.
Oh, you're looking...
You too. I love your tie.
Yeah, looking spectacular.
This is like a fashion show, really. It's not even a morning show anymore. It's like a compliment show. What can we do? Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, former Good Morning Britain host Piers Morgan launched another public swipe at the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, after she apologized to the Court of Appeal on Thursday for not telling a judge about emails showing her attempts to influence a biography about her and Prince Harry. Morgan weighed back into his feud with the Duchess, tweeting that he doesn't believe a word Meghan Markle says. And 50-year-old WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange on Thursday was given permission to marry his fiancée, 38-year-old Stella Morris, who is the mother of his 2 children, inside Britain's highest security prison. Assange is fighting extradition to the United States from Belmarsh Prison, where he has been held since 2019. In China, 35-year-old Peng Shuai, the tennis player who accused Zhang Zhailoi, the country's former vice premier, of sexual abuse, in a lengthy post uploaded to Weibo, a Chinese social media site, is reported to have vanished a week after the allegation. The athlete, who became a household name after winning the French Open doubles in 2014, has not been seen in public or online. Other sports. 5 Paris Saint-Germain female players on Thursday were reportedly given security protection after receiving phone threats just days after Kiera Hamraoui, a midfielder, was beaten with iron bars on orders by her teammate Aminata Diallo. On November 4th, the 31-year-old was attacked by 2 masked men in what is alleged to be a deliberate attempt to stop her from playing on the team. Finally, under entertainment, 8 Nigerian musicians have been nominated in the Best African Act category of this year's Music of Black Origin Awards. The annual awards ceremony, which will be taking place in Coventry, England on December 5th, celebrates black music and culture. The 8 artists include Rema, Aria Star, Burna Boy, Davido, Tems, Tiwa Savage, Wizkid, and CK. All right, let's begin what's trending with reactions trailing the arrest of 14 persons in connection to the raid of the home of Mary Odili, a justice of the Supreme Court. During a press briefing on Thursday, Frank Mba, the police public relations officer, said a fake chief superintendent of police, an Islamic scholar, and a journalist were among the 14 persons arrested. On October 29th, security operatives made up of soldiers and police officers stormed the Abuja residence of the Supreme Court Justice over alleged illegal activities at her residence. The search warrant was said to have been granted to Lawrence Ajodo, who was identified as the chief superintendent officer, who the police now say is an imposter. Well, let's take some reactions. This is from Otumwa. How can Nigeria work if the police are afraid of some elements in power, forgetting that everybody is equal before the law? No wonder the police lost their integrity and respect before the people. Well, another user, Abdul Mahmoud, wrote, so the chief magistrate granted the order to search to frusters. Well, everyone is saying it's a cover-up, including Mahmoud. I think that his tweet is apt. It just sounds weird that you can get a court order and you don't know who you're giving the court order to. I mean, how does that work?
I completely agree with that tweet. It makes no sense. And if it makes no sense, it's more likely to be untrue. But it just underscores how unsafe we all are. this is Justice Mary Odili's home
Yes.
that was violated in this fashion. And then who the rest is, who are the rest of us, average Nigerians? Anybody can just come barging into your house. And it reminds me of a story that you brought, OG, a while ago, of a fake EFCC operative with some, who had like police with him to gain access into somebody's house to commit crime. So now a chief magistrate can issue a warrant to people who enter somebody's home. They could have done anything to her. Anything could have happened to her family.
Absolutely.
This is actually the scariest thing, and the fact that we're just being fed lies, because for me, I don't buy this story.
I don't think anybody does. It just doesn't add up at this point. We need more, we need thorough investigation, Dr. Abati.
Well, I mean, the judiciary, it's always said, is the last hope of the common man. And judges, for a reason, are held up to very high standards and also given protection and also required on their own to be above board. But what we have witnessed in recent times is that these persons who are the center of the justice administration process to ensure that rights are not violated and that the rule of law prevails in society have themselves become victims of the degradation that we see in Nigeria, of the collapse of values. This is not the first time this will happen. You remember, about 2 years ago in Port Harcourt, a judge's home was attacked at midnight. And we had the spectacle of Governor Wike going there, to protect the judge. Can you imagine, a governor or ordinary citizens going to protect a judge from people who are, laying siege? And in the case of Justice Mary Odili, this is not even the first time she will be exposed to intimidation. It has happened again a second time. Now, if judges are not safe, to borrow from Tundon's point, then nobody is safe. That's the first point. Now, as to the details of this particular issue, is a search warrant was issued, we're told, by a magistrate in Abuja. That warrant, we understand, has now been vacated after, the furore that the incident generated. But we had persons that have been identified, or, 14 persons in total. It was even said that a journalist was included. It was even said that a deputy superintendent of police was involved, and other officials of state. Of course, the journalist that was mentioned happened to have been identified as a ghost journalist because he was linked with This Day newspaper. And the managing editor of This Day has already issued a statement that particular journalist, he was a sports reporter 15 years ago, had left the newspaper, and since then he had not acted in any way on behalf of the newspaper. Now, you have the Attorney General of the Federation speaking through his special advisor media, Dr. Ogumba, who has also issued a statement to say that, look, the Attorney General of the Federation was not involved in any way. He does not know any fake police officer, and it's not the job of the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to go about, enforcing search warrants and arresting people. Strongly worded clarification in that regard. So if we have fake journalists, we have fake policemen, we have fake all kinds of persons who can just go to one kangaroo court and get a warrant, then it means they can come into your house. And in some of these cases, they do it at night. I've had one lady's home was invaded the other day. She said she was almost naked when they came, and she felt that that was an assault on her privacy. So you have all these kind of funny things happening. And that is why I agree with Femi Falana, SAN, that one, the executive arm of government should investigate this. The police say they've set up a panel. The Office of the Attorney General, also says it's investigating. The NBA says no. The Office of the Attorney General should not bother, since his name has been mentioned in the matter. And that, maybe the police can do its job. But that an independent panel of inquiry should look into this so that, people don't get invaded at midnight, for no reason whatsoever. And the magistrate, Falana added that both the magistrate and the lawyers who may have been involved in this must be investigated. The legal practitioners, the disciplinary committee, and legal practitioners privileges committee should look into this matter. And I hope that nobody will sweep it under the carpet so that it doesn't happen again.
Right. They also claim that, a few military men are still at large at this point. But I'm just wondering, the Islamic scholar, what was his involvement in this?
Nigeria is a movie.
We said it yesterday.
You said it. Nigeria is a movie. Get your popcorn. Oji, it will happen again.
Yeah.
I'm not a prophet of doom.
Oh, gosh.
But it will happen again. It has happened before. Oji, it was in this country in 2003, December, that they killed the Attorney General of this country, a Minister of Justice. They killed Chief Bola Ige. Nothing was done. Then we started the movie of Frayo. Then we docked somebody. The person they put in prison for that event won an election from prison. Oji, have you seen that? Yeah. Won an election from prison. Yeah. And then we've seen the one that have happened. Oji, this will happen again. This country is a movie. You see, the problem is, Dr. Abati, the truth is, they all know what is going on. We are laymen. We will never know. We'll never get to the end.
No, but it's unfair.
But
really unfair.
Please, I keep asking a question. Is this truly the Nigeria we all want? Where somebody can get a warrant, go to somebody's home in the middle of the night, fake journalist, fake Islamic scholar, fake superintendent of police, just like Fela says, unknown gunman, unknown soldier, unknown police, unknown civilian.
Unknown gunman.
And they have achieved what they wanted to achieve by harassing that woman.
So sad.
So is this the country we want? And you see, people will do this thing because it favors them. And that's why I would like to see how the NBA stands up tall in all of this. They have put Barrister Monday Obande in charge of this investigation. Let's see the end to all of this. But Oji, if you are a concerned party tomorrow in this case, they will arrange fake, get warrants, arrange the fake retinue, the cast and crew of the movie sets, and come to whoever's house. It just shows you that nobody is safe in this country. And that's why we keep shouting, is this truly the country we want for our generations yet unborn?
Yeah.
It will happen again, Oji. Let's not deceive ourselves.
Well, I hope not. We'll take another story. An old video of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the first president of Nigeria, speaking at the Nigerian High Commission in London with a message to the Igbos during the civil war in 1969 to turn away from the leaders of Biafra who misled them into supporting an enterprise that had brought them widespread suffering, has resurfaced online and is making the rounds on social media. Well, let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
September 5, 1969, I alighted at the Lagos airport at 2 p.m. and I spent the next 21 days in visiting the capitals of the 12 states of Nigeria, including 4 university towns. It has made it clear to me that all of us have now realized the mistakes we made in the past by fighting one another. There is a general feeling, which is widespread, that all are now determined to turn a new leaf and help repair the damage we have inflicted on ourselves. Not only that, there is now a deep-seated desire to have effective central government which will hold the federation intact so that in the future no component of it shall be in position to challenge the fatherland. The world has been shocked that an enterprising people like the Igbo have been tongue-tied and emasculated, that they have allowed tyrants to blindfold and hoodwink them, so that in a war alleged to be fought for their survival, more than 1.5 million children of their country had died of starvation and disease. It sickens me to see the advertisement of skeletal Biafran babies on the pages of newspapers and on the TV screens, begging for charity and relief. It hurts my pride as a human being. His people offer to General Ojukwu. I wish he would have second thoughts and inscribe his name in contemporary world history as a brave soldier and a beloved leader, instead of disfiguring the pages of Nigerian history as another political impostor and petty tyrant.
You know, I have always respected Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe's opinions and all, but he really has come under fire after this video surfaced, you know, among the Igbos. Dr. Abati, your comment on this?
Evidence.
Yes, you know, a lot of ink has been put on paper over the role that was played by Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe during the Nigerian Civil War. And even before the Civil War started, it was already made. It was the great intellectual, the great Pan-Africanist. It was Governor General, you know, of Nigeria. You know, even if it was a ceremonial position, but it was the first President General of Nigeria. Well, when the war started, you know, we were told that yes, he supported Biafran, but later on he pulled back, and then, you know, resurfaced in Lagos, and he then joined hands with, you know, the Nigerian government to see how the war could be resolved. And I think that this tape, this must be around 1969.
It was 1969.
Because towards the end of the war, we now had the great Zik, as he was known, you know, making a move for the end of the war. And you see that there was a place in that speech where he talked about how he had visited parts of Nigeria and how the Nigerian, you know, government had reassured that everybody would feel safe in Nigeria. So he became an apostle for one Nigeria. And I don't think it is out of place for him to continue to be remembered forever as a nationalist. He wanted peace, he wanted justice. He said, you know, he felt that the humanitarian disaster happening in the southeast of Nigeria, you know, was something that could be avoided so that Nigeria could move forward. So some people have criticized him in terms of the both ideological and practical positions that he took. But of course, each individual played their own roles in that moment in Nigeria. But the big question beyond the Civil War, which you have brought up, is that, look, has that justice been done? Has Nigeria been fair to every citizen? That assurance that was given by Zik at that time. You know, if Zik himself were alive today, if the great Zik were alive today, he remained, you know, at the center of Nigerian politics and the nationalist progress. Will he be pleased, you know, that many years later, more than 50 years later, we still have in the Southeast spectacles, you know, of marginalization, of victimization, of degradation, and that across Nigeria, the dream that he and the other founding fathers had through the nationalist struggle, through the media. He had, if you read his book, My Odyssey, you know, he has this Zik group of newspapers, you know, as a man who believed in the idea of Nigeria. And he had a chain of newspapers all over the place, you know, because he wanted to build Nigeria. West African Pilot was the most dominant amongst them. But then, of course, politics affected that. And he says in My Odyssey that it was the journalists that messed up his newspaper business. But that's another story altogether. But, well, you brought this story as a way of prodding our memory, of reminding us of what happened. But it's our responsibility to jump from there to the present and to say that those same questions
are the same
remain
raised at this point.
Yeah.
Rufai.
I mean, very, you know, spot on what Dr. Abati said. But for us as a nation, these questions started even before our existence. The questions of fairness and equity led us to having a Willings report in 1957. The questions of fairness and equity led us to having a certain Isaac Adakaboro. You know, now a lot of people in the Niger Delta talks about Boroism. These questions, you know, gave rise to a Kensaruwiwa. These questions gave rise to Nnamdi Kanu. These questions gave rise to Rafu Wazirike. These questions gave rise to Sunday Igboho. These questions gave rise to Gani Adams in the 90s when he wanted an Oduduwa Republic. These questions gave rise to who else? That's the sad part. Because if we don't solve this problem, there's going to be somebody else that will give justification to this injustice we are seeing. And that's why we must dial back and ask ourselves, what do we truly want for our country? And those that have the capacity, please do it right. It belongs to all of us. This country. Absolutely. It can work, but are we ready to make it work?
Well said, Rufai.
What I gather from this video, and I guess as a disclaimer, I'm not objective about Zeke. I'm a huge fan of his, so I'm never going to be objective about him. But what I gather from the video is that he was moved by the needless suffering, by the children who starved to death. And I personally still cannot believe that Nigerians did this to each other. We really have a lot to atone for, and we never have. I've talked about it many times on this show and off this show. We should have actually a public holiday, a day of remembrance across the country to sit and reflect, because peace at any cost is no peace at all.
Yes.
That's really the bottom line. There will forever be these agitations that you just gave us a litany of these agitations. It's going to continue to happen because the issues have not been addressed, and it's an injustice. So in my simplistic way, don't talk about how I like to watch movies. I was going to talk about X-Men, but I know you're going to look down on me. I know you're going to look down on me, so I won't. In some people's minds, you can have like a General Ojukwu as Malcolm X and Nnamdi Azikiwe as Martin Luther King, but it's not like they were fighting for different objectives. Obviously, everybody wants the best for the Igbos in this country and every other part of this country. They had different means of achieving what they were trying to get. So I think people should really not say anything horrid about the great Zik of Africa. He was a great man. He was a great man.
I'd love to see a movie made, of Nnamdi Azikiwe. I'd love to see it.
He was so great.
Biopic, right?
Nice biopic.
He was really
Nigeria's first president. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, all right. We'll take our final story. Eunice Ngozi Onuegbusi, the woman who was seen in a video rejecting money from agents of the All Progressives Congress after they tried to pay her and a group of other women the sum of 5,000 naira each to vote for their party on November 6th during the Anambra Governorship election on Thursday, was awarded the sum of 1 million naira by Willie Obiano, the governor of Anambra State. The governor thanked her for her courage, saying even though she knew the money could buy her temporary relief, she remained loyal and voted according to her conscience. I mean, I thought when I saw this story, I was like, yes, finally, our leaders must show appreciation when, we citizens do something like that. I thought it was so beautiful to see.
Amazing. She's such an Amazon and an example, shining example of Nigerian womanhood and how strong we are, how resilient we are, and how we can simply not be bored. Our convictions are that strong. And I just think hope springs eternal for my country, Nigeria, because you have a story like this that's so heartwarming, and every so often you hear about a taxi driver who found this amount of money, returning it. There remains good in this country, and we need to hear more of this.
I know, because she had thought to see 1 million naira for rejecting 5,000 naira. I thought it was so beautiful.
No, it's not about the money. It's good for Governor Willie Obiano to, recognize her, to single her out, and he has given her 1 million naira. You see, to her and the other women of Ebenebe, who have been praised widely, even in an essay by James Eze, who is Chief Press Secretary to Governor Obiano. They demonstrated that money is not important. Their conscience is more important to them. And they showed symbolic courage in rejecting that money. These are women in rural areas. They are not even from the billionaire quarters of Inewi or Rafite or Osumenyi, So money for them was not an issue. And I think these are the true heroes of the Anambra just concluded election. Well, she was not alone. Maybe she was the leader of the group. I would also like to see other women, who also did what she did, also for them to be recognized, not just by the state government or ABGA, but also by NGOs, by CSOs, and when the national honors list is being compiled, these are the kind of people that would like to see on Nigeria's national honors list.
Absolutely.
Not persons of dubious character who think that the national honors of Nigeria is a chieftaincy title,
which is what's
that they are, entitled to just because they are occupying a certain position, either as traditional rulers or as permanent secretaries within the corridors of power. We look at the awards in the UK. You could attach something important to each person. It's not about your class, it's about what you have contributed. So when next we see a national honors list of funny characters,
you have to see Eunice,
we will insist on this Madam Eunice.
When was the last honors list? I don't think President Buhari really is very impressed.
Well, he still has time to do a national honors list.
3 seconds, quickly.
Conviction, conviction, conviction is the cornerstone of a great society.
Absolutely.
Nigerians, keeping your conviction for a good Nigerian.
I love that. Well, thank you all for your beautiful analysis.
Thank you, Oji.
Thank you, Oji.
You also deserve it. You also deserve a national honor
for
what you do.
Oh, well, thank you very much. We all do.
Just
And I'll wear my agbada and follow you to the place.
Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending Today. I'll see you tomorrow.